So my topic will be today phase approach in software development life cycle. This is a project management battle which help organization to execute their software development process in a smooth way. Many companies use different high-level approaches to maintain their process, and this is also one of them. So before go to the phase approach title to discuss, so I like to ask why companies use proper approach. So I will answer myself because this is one of the diagram in the software development life cycle, one of the high level key entities we have. So to answer this question, why companies use a proper approach? Because the approach helps to lower the complexity of developing a system from scratch. It is important to have an approach in a place as it helps to transform idea of a project into a functional and completely operational structure. In addition to covering the technical aspect of the system development, approach helps with process development, change management, user experience, and policies. When it comes to the policies, it's all about discipline, SLA from each and every stakeholders. And also approach allow for planning ahead of time, determining costs and staff decisions and defining goals. There will be many positive factors, but I will stop here as I assume you got the points which I'm trying to explain. So let's move on to our topic again. It's a phase approach. So it's very simple. So it has 4 levels as phase 0, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Based on the company can be added to different phases or different phase numbers. That's really okay. In high level, it is phase to execute. In very simple term, which means doing a bunch of activities in that particular phase. And it has entry criteria and exit criteria. Think like this. So we all know what is software development lifecycle entities. So this is something more than above. So actually how we manage and how we collaborate with stuff. The main purpose of this presentation is to explain which activity we will do at which level in software development life cycle using phase approach. Here I don't explain software development life cycle methods. I will explain how to collaborate with software development life cycle activities in a responsible way using a phase approach. So let's see what are those. So actually I was use this phase approach in my industrial experience more than 3 years time. This is one of the successful method we use in the industry. So let's move on. The first one is phase 0. So when come to the phase 0, so it's the purpose of phase 0 is high level requirement sign off and stakeholder alignment. So before I go to this phase 0 thing, so let's discuss these things with the practical, the real-time example. Then you can understand what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So let's assume we have a product which has been live since 2 years time. So many teams involved to run this product. Different multiple dev teams, multiple QA teams, product, BA, DevOps, UI teams, escalation engineers, project managers, internal users, dev and QA in component wise. Likewise, so to run this product, there are many small teams. One small team, 3% dev and QA portions. Likewise, so lots of teams. So for example, like more than 200 people working in one product, something like that, right? So that's an example. Keep that in mind because the same thing I'm going to continue. Right. So let's say we have received new change requirement for this existing project. Then we will discuss a phase approach. So who are the stakeholders again? Like I said, above are the stakeholders, dev, QA, PM, and so on. So these are the factors. These are the factors I'm going to talk in phase 0. So as I said, each and every phase we have entry and exit criteria. So entry criteria, it's like this. It's very simple. So after product team got green lights from the management and customers, we have to come to this phase 0 approach, phase 0 level. It's a meeting with all stakeholders. So what we are doing is, once we get the change requirement, so we are putting a meeting. But to do that meeting from the product guide, before that, actually the management and customers and BA guy maybe will work 1 month or 2 months time to get the high level requirement. So first of all, product team has to get the approval from the top management regarding this high level requirement. Even they talk with customers. So once that discussion is over, so we have to announce there's a change requirement for our existing product. So we are going to do it. We receive it. So what we will do is, we will arrange a meeting and we will invite all the stakeholders to come to this meeting and have a discussion with us. To do that, we have to agree with the high level requirement. So these are the activities we will discuss during the meeting: the feasibility study and ROI. So our main purpose of phase 0 is stakeholder alignment and sign off the high level requirement. Right? So teams, again, if I explain what is team, so multiple dev teams, multiple QA teams, PM, UI guys will be there. But for the phase 0, obviously, only the leads, software development directors, software QA directors, managers, senior architect, those kind of high level leads will be joined for this high level meeting. Not the entire team will come to discuss this meeting. So we will discuss, these are the outcome of the meeting, and we are targeting the feasibility study and ROI. Even though we got the change requirement from clients, we are not going to do it if that requirement gives a good ROI for the company or for the product. So teams sit together and discuss what is the ROI we are going to get it from this new requirement. Prepare that, identify all the significant roles associated with the requirements, along with high-level requirements document, mockups, and any gaps. So teams sit together and analyze what is this high-level requirement and finding any gaps. Circulate requirement to all potential stakeholder team representative. Stakeholder team representative means one representative should be in this phase 0 meeting to represent one of the team. That can be anything, right? The identify applicable stakeholders, teams, and their high-level dependencies. So let's say to do this, the finding dependencies is a very important thing. Initial stage of the project. Let's say to do this change requirement, we require 5 teams. So out of 5 teams, third team is not available at this time. They are busy with something else. Then project PM. Then PM has to find out who is the next available team in this time duration. We can do this. So likewise, teams sit together and find dependencies before go to the other step. So the dependencies can be anything. That can be human resources dependencies, technical dependencies, or devices, or something else. That can be anything. So the purpose of one of the outcome is what we are expecting is finding different dependencies as a team. Present requirements to the applicable stakeholders, make necessary clarification and adjustment. Yes, we can point out clarifications and adjustment to the product guide regarding the high-level requirement. So other outcomes are the phase 0 thing. Actually, this is just a meeting, right? But even though this is just a meeting, the duration is 1 day for the other team. So who will work 1 or 2 months of this phase 0? Only the product guy. So they will discuss with the clients and top management 1 or 2 months time, and they will present to the other team. So for the other teams like devs, QAs, UI, escalation engineers, that for them this is for a 1 day or 2 days time of duration of phase 1, right? Phase 0, sorry. So all sign off the finalized high-level requirement. So each and every team has to sign off the high-level requirement. So end of the day, this is going to production. They can't say there's a new change that we don't know, right? So each and every team has to sign off the requirement. Everyone has to agree. Without agreeing, we can't move to phase 1, the next level. So phase zero ballpark estimation from each stakeholder has to give. But this is not committing to the client or top management. That's the ballpark estimation. So why we are giving the ballpark estimation in the phase zero? By looking at the high level requirement, because for this phase, all the experienced fellows will come, all the leads will come. Those having, like, it's depend on the company actually. Maybe like 15 years to 25 years to experienced guys will come. They have done a lot of things in the industry, so they have lots of experience. So with help of them, we can give a kind of ballpark estimation that can be gone correct or wrong. That's fine. Why we are giving the ballpark estimation? Then we know where are we going to head in. Like it's like 1 month thing or 2 month thing or 6 months or likewise. We know what's the length of this new change requirement. So exit criteria of this are high level requirement should finalize and sign off from all teams. And the called hot house. Hot house means in the phase zero, we are just putting a meeting and we are announcing there's a requirement. All team has to participate and sit together and do this analyze about this phase zero, the new requirement. Why we call hot house? End of this meeting, right? End of this meeting, maybe we can completely reject the new requirement because we can see there is no good ROI for the company and for the product, right? So there will be lots of positive and negative and counter arguments will be happen in this meeting. So it is really hot. I was there since 3 years time, more than 3 years time. So it's really hot. That's why people are talking. This is a hot house meeting, right? That's a phase zero. And the other exit criteria are identify high level dependencies and high level estimation. So high level estimation means the ballpark estimation, right? So in the industry that we call actually t-shirt sizing. So how are we going to give it in the t-shirt sizing? So we use this method. So you can say there are different type of t-shirts like extra small, medium, large, and XL. So we have designer. Small will be 2 weeks sprint, extra large will be 8 to 16 weeks sprint. So with this mechanism, we are giving a size for the ballpark estimation. So this can be depending on the company and depending on the situation. If I talk a little bit about the phase zero, as I told you earlier, most of the time only leads will join for this meeting, not the entire team members, such as directors and managers and leads. Responsibility distribution and the showing up upcoming responsibilities as well. So of the key thing, we are distributing the responsibility within the entire company. Other ways around we are also we are the way of processing the communication among all teams as well. So why we need the ballpark estimation? Then we know where we're going to head up. That's based on the dev and QE capacity. We will do this estimation, the t-shirt sizing. So once all teams are okay with the phase zero, which means identifying the dependencies and the when all are finalized in the high level requirement, we can go to the phase one. So this is phase one. The purpose is detailed requirement specification and system architecture and test plan. Right. So the duration of this phase one is like close to 1 week or 2 weeks time. That's also depend on the new requirement and the situation. So what is detailed requirement? So when it comes to the phase one execution, product guys unable to tell this is high level. He has to count with the entire requirement, with the detailed requirement, right? There can't be any can be qualifications, but it should be a detailed requirement should be there. This is really dependent on the product guy, right? So actually, when it comes to the phase one, 95% of product guys' works are already done, right? So that's the phase one. Requirement adjustment and sign off can be there. So the detailed requirement also need to sign off by the each and every team. So in phase one, we are starting off system architecture and logical modeling, test plan, test scenarios, and UI storybook. So system architecture, they will decide what's the technical stack they are going to use for development, and logical system modeling, they will select what is the database they are going to use and what's the table structure. And QA guys will start off with the test plan according to this detailed requirement specification, and they will come up with the test scenarios as well, not the test cases, test scenarios. Your UI guys definitely will start the UI storybook. So these start off points will be all depend on the detailed requirement specification. So that's the purpose of phase one. So exit criteria are sign off the detailed requirements, align system architecture, align logical data modeling document, DB table approach, align test plan and test scenarios, UI storybook, duration against 1 or 2 weeks time. So we are actually starting off, we are not finishing. We will start off. Dev and QE and UI guys parallel starting the new requirement stuff in phase one. That's a 1 or 2 weeks time. So then let's move to the phase two. The purpose of phase two is finalize the technical design, finalize the test plan, estimation, and release plan. So before moving to this thing, I will talk a little bit about the phase two. The main other purposes are the phase one and two are really critical because the all research work, all the evaluation of the dev and QE work will be done here. Software directors will evaluate dev stuff, and software QE directors will evaluate all the QE stuff. Finally, presented to the top management. So top to bottom responsibilities are really visible throughout the company, and everyone knows who's doing what. So in phase one, we start off. In phase two, we have to give those two evaluations, and we have to give the correct estimation. So this is the way it is going. Finalize the test plan from the QE point of view. They have to finalize and do the scenario document as well. So QE directors, managers, and senior guys will evaluate everything from QE guys and QE and product guys as well. And from the dev perspective, they will translate logical data model into the physical data design using whatever the database we have selected, behavior model into the functional design, and they will start their thing. And their stuff also thoroughly evaluated by their seniors. So once the research and the primary stuff are done, the sprint plan we have to do. We have to actually create all the Jira tickets based on the detailed requirement, right? And we have to do the sprint planning, and we have to give the estimation. Estimation can be story point basis or hourly basis. That doesn't matter. We need that estimation. So you can see product guy is not here because product guy stuff is already done in phase one because he has given the detailed requirement specification. If we come to the phase two, it's all about finalizing, evaluating, giving the estimation. And then PM has to, once you create Jira tickets, once you've done the estimation, then it's come to the project manager. He has to create the release plan. See, now all the stakeholders are really aligned with our requirement. Devs, QAs, UI guys, and the BA guys, they all are aligned with our requirement. So once the PM create the release plan. So exit criteria of the phase two are review and signing off, system architecture, logical data model, test plan, test scenario, UI storybook, estimation and release plan, phase two estimation committed. So this estimation are actually committed. The duration of phase two is 1 week. Evaluation stuff, doing the calculation and stuff. The duration of phase two is committed. But to actually develop and do the QA and putting this to the testing, staging, production environment, that will be calculated with this phase two estimation. That will be committed to the top management and the client. So that will be locked as well, right? So then we are going to the phase 3 execution. That's the purpose of phase 3 execution is actually implement and ready the system for regression. That's the main purpose. Once you come to the phase 3, it's all about just developing and do the QA. There is no more research work because everything will be evaluated and do the research stuff in phase 1, 2, and phase 0 stages. So these are the activities, translate test. So at this time, in phase 3, what they are doing basically translate test scenarios into test cases, execute physical design to the design, which means actual development, unit tests, automation, page object and tests, dev and TC testing, bug fixing, deployment and configuration. And exit criteria system is ready for regression. So if I talk a little bit about the phase 3 execution, phase 3 is happening according to the estimation given based on phase 2. No more research work will happen in phase 3. Just executing sprint, there will be estimated QA and dev tasks. Only exception to start regression. That's also really depend on the situation. More than 50% of unit tests should be there. More than 50% of automation should be there. Performance testing wise, we can skip some like more time consuming performance test activities like endurance testing approach. Likewise, so blockers, critical, major SONA issues shouldn't be there, but we can have minor SONA issues. What is SONA? SONA is a third-party component we use for evaluate the code which is written by developers before we submitting to the IR or we handing over to the customers. So we will evaluate the standard of the code written by developers using the SONA. So there can be a minor stuff, but not the major blocker or critical. Bugs also can be there, but those bugs has to be signed off by the product, BA team. So this is where actually a defect triage meeting will happen. Anyway, most of the above are dependent on the deadline and the situation. So what is not exception is the SLA of the dev and QA work. Usually dev testing will be executed in the dev environment by the devs and sometimes by the team before each and every IR will be sent to the test environment, because quality is no longer the responsibility of QA. It is responsibility of the team. So who's the team? Dev, QA, BA, and all. Once the regression is signed off from QA, the test environment, then the product will move to the staging environment and the production environment. There will be staging and production strategy will be executed. And release, once everything is done, we will have a release retro meeting will be there after the release is going live. It's a meeting where we can share the what went good, bad, and suggestions, preventive actions, and upcoming stuff. So this is all about the phase approach. So what I'm trying to explain is the way we collaborate things within the organization when we do the software development life cycle. So that's about it. So thanks for listening. So if you have any question, you can raise now. This is your time.